Next on News 3 Now at 10, we're learning more about what happened after shots were fired at Shake the Lake last night. Hear from some of the people who were there. And severe storms rolled through the area today. We take a look at the damage it left behind and the additional storms ahead. Plus, President Trump crosses into North Korea from the demilitarized zone, what this means for nuclear talks.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 10.
Thanks for joining News 3 Now at 10. I'm Amanda Quintana. Police are investigating after shots were fired at Shake the Lake just minutes after the fireworks ended last night. Officials say there were gunshots inside the Monona Terrace tunnel on John Nolan Drive just before 10:30. A 20-year-old man was shot, but police say his injuries are not considered life-threatening, and he and the shooter knew each other. Officers don't believe it was a random act. A Madison police officer also sustained a leg injury after that initial call. Our Gabriela Becerra spoke to attendees who say their fun night quickly turned to panic.
It was supposed to be a really fun night. My friend was, in town.
We were at the fireworks and had a great time.
Finale had just ended, and we're I'm getting the kids packed up, getting our stuff packed up, talking about just how phenomenal the grand finale was. It was the best we'd ever seen.
All of a sudden, you just hear this really loud noise.
It was like bam, 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 bam.
So people just start running, and all of us were walking, and we're like, what's going on? And people are screaming, gunshots, gunshots, gunshots. And, for a moment, you panic. You're like, wait, what is going on?
Got 3 children, 1 in a wheelchair. It was take cover.
My grandson took off running, and I ran after him and said, get down, get down. I kind of laid on top of him, and it was very panicky. It was very hard to know what to do.
So people are literally pushing people out of the way and jumping over some of the rails that the police had set up.
The woman next to me was helping cover the kids, and people running past us, others taking cover, people screaming, some people crying.
Then I felt like, well, do we just sit here like sitting ducks? So then we got up and we ran where there was this big, huge metal dumpster.
I was able to kind of with my friends, kind of move quickly and kind of dodge through the way and kind of weave our way back. But if you were, with a kid or maybe slower moving, you would have definitely gotten pushed out of the way.
Grandson was crying and asking, if he was going to die.
It was a very chaotic scene, and I would say that panic in a mass crowd like that is very scary and something I've never experienced before.
After I got the 3 of them calm and a couple extra hugs, and then I knew that they were in bed and safe, then it hit me.
I really didn't get much sleep. I was every little noise was kind of freaking me out.
It's got to really appreciate every day, and thank God that things worked out this time.
All 3 ladies said that the Madison police force handled the situation extremely well and had the scene cleared very quickly.
Thank you, Gabriela. Madison Police Chief Mike Koval called the shooting an anomaly in a statement this morning, saying while not minimizing what could have potentially been a disastrous outcome, multiple shots fired in a crowd, terror and fleeing. This sanctioned event was heavily vetted with multiple entities and staffed across the board with personnel from a plethora of public and private partnerships. Madison Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway also released a statement today saying it was entirely unacceptable that someone brought a gun to the family-friendly event. She says she will be working with the police and other city staff to see what measures can be taken to enhance security at Shake the Lake and other public events, but also says her job is made more difficult by a, quote, state legislature that advances reckless gun laws. Let's turn it over to Dana Fulton with your first alert forecast. We had a pretty eventful day today, Dana, with all these storms.
It was very active for us outside. We had a few rounds of those storms slide on through, and as we look at our Doppler radar just for the last 6 hours, this is just the most recent round. Of course, this morning a line coming through bringing some stronger storms towards Dane and Rock County, and the second line really hammering through Grant, Iowa, and Lafayette counties. Right now our Doppler track's nice and quiet. That's the good news. We'll have several dry hours before we look ahead to tomorrow morning and the chance for a few more storms. Right now, we're hugging close to 70 in Madison and in Mineral Point. Our temperatures compared to this time yesterday are quite a bit cooler for us, but we aren't going to drop nearly as much overnight. We'll stay in the low 70s for our overnight lows. Dew points in the upper 60s for us, so it's feeling pretty muggy outside. We're going to be humid and warm for the rest of the week. A few more chances for showers, but we'll take a closer look at what's ahead all the way through the 4th of July in just a few minutes. Amanda?
Thank you, Dana. Happening today, severe weather has left its mark across Wisconsin. Madeline O'Neill is here now. She spent the day tracking the storms and the damage that they left behind. Maddie?
Well, Amanda, fallen branches, power lines, and power outages seem to be today's theme. In Columbia County alone, dispatchers took more than 40 weather-related calls, but the storms affected most of our area, hitting some harder than others.
Must have been around 10-ish. I heard a pop.
At first, Portage homeowner Paula Woodward didn't want to go out into the storm.
It was storming and thundering and lightning and blowing. So then curiosity got me.
What she found surprised her.
Holy cow. There was like a branch off this big tree over here that flew across and covered up my little baby tree.
Winds going a bit quicker than some of the critters hiding in the storm's aftermath. Tore down branches and cables along with them.
I thought it was a joke. I'm like, no way, really?
Maybe a bit more shocking.
It burned right through the metal.
Brandon Cooper, owner of Cooper Plumbing in Verona, says lightning struck his work truck.
This is our little lightning rod, I guess.
An antenna blown away, holes left behind, and a flat tire.
I was kind of crawling around going, wow, I hope it doesn't strike twice in the same place. They say it won't.
Cooper says some at the nearby bar saw the sparks.
It won't drive. It's stuck. There's lights come on and things flash inside, but the motor won't turn over.
Since it's one of only 2 work trucks for his company.
So it's going to be kind of hard on us.
But Cooper is taking this surprise strike in stride.
You can't cry over spilled milk, so. Or lightning. Yeah, or lightning frying a vehicle, so nothing I can do about it.
Cooper called his insurance agent immediately. He's hoping this lightning strike will be covered.
All right, thank you so much, Maddie. More local news now. A man was robbed while pumping gas early this morning in Madison. Madison police say officers were dispatched shortly after 3 in the morning for a report of an armed robbery. It happened at the Mobile gas station on East Washington Avenue. A 43-year-old man was filling his car with gas when 2 men approached him, one of them initially asking him to make change. He agreed, but when he took out his wallet, the other man went behind him, grabbed money out of his hand, and sprayed him with pepper spray. The men took off in a green 1992 Buick Century before police arrived. A 9-year-old boy is seriously injured after an ATV crash last night in the town of Emmett. Dodge County officials say a 48-year-old Watertown man was driving a Honda ATV with a 9-year-old boy from Rio. Around 9:20 last night, the driver lost control of the ATV in an intersection. It rolled and both the man and boy were ejected. The driver suffered serious but non-life-threatening injuries, while the boy is dealing with serious life-threatening injuries. Officials believe alcohol was a factor in this crash. A 45-year-old Milwaukee man died this morning after being shot by a minor who intervened in a domestic dispute. Officials say the man was fighting with a woman when the woman's son stepped in, shooting the man, and he later died at the hospital. A Wisconsin man has pleaded guilty to illegally shipping guns to an Australian weapons dealer. Andy Hubschman admitted in federal court to sending the Australia dealer pistols, rifles, and rifle parts to convert semi-automatic guns into fully automatic weapons. He owns a Wisconsin-based gun manufacturer and met his Australian trading partner at a Las Vegas gun trade show 7 years ago. Hubschman didn't have an export license for his shipment, and he faces up to 20 years in prison. In the Fox Cities, the area's Habitat for Humanity chapter is attempting the most ambitious event in the national organization's history. This is the 5th year Rock the Block came to the cities. Traditionally, volunteers come together in one neighborhood for park cleanups, exterior home repairs, landscaping, and more on about 25 homes. This year, the organization is pushing that limit to 100.
Once you do 100, there's no reason you can't do 100 in another place or all over America. And that means that we're going to be able to impact 4 times as many people as we ever thought we could.
The cost is offset through fundraising, but the organization needs to meet a $300,000 goal to make it happen on August 2nd. Coming up on News 3 Now at 10, President Trump crosses into North Korea from the demilitarized zone. What this means for nuclear talks. President Trump ended his Asia trip with a surprise meeting with North Korean's leader Kim Jong-un. The president made history by becoming the first sitting U.S. president to set foot inside North Korea. CBS News' Meg Oliver reports.
With a footstep, President Trump became the first sitting president to go inside North Korea.
Stepping across that line was a great honor.
President Trump crossed the demilitarized zone that divides the Koreas with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un at his side. They spent about a minute in the north, then walked back into the south.
A lot of progress has been made. A lot of friendships have been made, and this has been in particular a great friendship.
President Trump and Kim then went inside the Freedom House and spoke for close to an hour. They agreed to resume nuclear talks in the coming weeks, according to the president, who also said he invited Kim to the White House.
We met and we liked each other from day one, and that was very important.
President Trump initiated the meeting with a tweet during the G20 summit in Japan.
When I first became president of the United States, there was great conflict in this area, great conflict, and now we have just the opposite.
In his Sunday address, the Pope saluted the gesture and said he hoped it would be good for the whole world, while Democratic presidential candidates voiced criticism.
This country is no safer when it comes to North Korea.
Former Vice President Joe Biden said in a statement, President Trump's coddling of dictators at the expense of American national security and interests is one of the most dangerous ways he's diminishing us on the world stage and subverting our values as a nation. Senator Kamala Harris tweeted, "This president should take the North Korean nuclear threat and its crimes against humanity seriously." President Trump says Secretary of State Mike Pompeo will lead negotiating teams in the renewed talks with North Korea. Meg Oliver, CBS News, New York.
Since President Trump's election, Pyongyang has taken several steps, including suspending nuclear tests and releasing detained Americans. While Trump stepped into North Korea, his incoming press secretary, Stephanie Grisham, ended up with bruises. She was involved in a scuffle between reporters and North Korean security guards today, with officials shoving and trying to block the press. The jostling grew as reporters tried to enter a room where Trump and Kim Jong-un were meeting after exchanging handshakes at the border. Grisham starts her role as White House press secretary tomorrow. 10 people are dead after an airplane crashed into a hangar shortly after taking off this morning in Madison, Texas, about 20 minutes north of Dallas. Officials say the entire plane was destroyed by the fire and there were no survivors. Dallas County officials say the families of those involved are being notified. The NTSB is on the scene tonight and will handle that investigation. Gay pride was on display around the world and across the nation today as the LGBTQ community capped a month of celebrations commemorating the start of the modern gay pride movement 50 years ago. The biggest event was in New York with 677 different groups marching. An estimated 150,000 people marched with an estimated 4 million spectators lining the streets. During the parade, Democratic Governor Andrew Cuomo signed a bill ending the gay and trans panic defense, which allowed a defendant to argue their emotional distress about the victim's sexuality wasn't justification or an excuse for a violent crime. Let's get a look at your first alert weather with Dana Fulton. That humidity and the chance of showers doesn't seem like it's going to go away.
That's really going to stay with us for the next several days, unfortunately. Now, the good news, once the storms went away for us, we actually had a really nice sunset this evening. This photo from Lynn Riker at Castle Rock late, the cloud coverage giving us just enough space for some light to come through. And of course, that leads to a really pretty colorful sunset. Right now, our Doppler track is quiet. The storms are now to the south. We're seeing showers in Illinois. A lot of storm reports coming in the last 24 hours for us. Several reports of trees down from both lines of storms coming through. This first one in Sun Prairie, the time of that report just before noon, but in Belmont, trees down. That was closer to 5:35 this evening. So that first line earlier in the morning and the second line sliding through later in the evening. As far as our precipitation totals, it really depended on which side of town you were on. These deep purple spots, those are also areas that saw over 2 inches of accumulation, while the lighter green just at about 1/4 inch of rain. So almost everyone seeing showers today, but some areas seeing quite a bit more than others. Again, our Doppler track's going to be quiet for the next several hours, but as these areas of low pressure shift back northeast, we're looking at the chance for a few more showers and isolated thunderstorms to start the day tomorrow, and then a slight chance later in the afternoon during the heat of the day. So that slight chance for us for severe weather really centered around the La Crosse area, but all of southern Wisconsin under some sort of outlook for tomorrow. That marginal risk really includes the threat for some heavy rainfall early in the morning, and we may also see some strong wind gusts popping up yet again. For Tuesday, a marginal risk stretching from Green Bay on south, so all of southern Wisconsin included in that. Tuesday evening, we're looking at the chance for a few thunderstorms to come through, and again, some of those storms are going to pack a little bit of a punch, bringing very strong wind gusts and heavy rain at times. So overnight, our temperatures are going to stay very close to 70 for us. Early in the morning tomorrow, plan on a few thunderstorms sliding on through. In the afternoon, temperatures will be in the mid to upper 80s. It's going to be humid again, so our heat index readings will be just a few degrees higher than our actual temperatures. Overnight into Tuesday morning, we may see a few isolated thunderstorms, and then Tuesday afternoon and evening, that's when we have another chance for some stronger thunderstorms to slide onto. We're leaving that alert day in the forecast for tonight and for Monday because those storm chances that'll be coming through overnight and for early Monday morning. Monday, it's going to be very warm and humid outside, and of course, we'll be watching the radar very closely with those storm chances coming through for us. Overnight, mostly cloudy, temperatures staying in the low 70s, and then by tomorrow afternoon, we'll be in the mid to upper 80s with that chance for some storms coming through early in the day, and it's going to be humid outside for us again. In the mid 80s to start off the week, and then by the end of the week, our temperatures will actually back off just a little bit. We'll fall a little closer to average, near 80 for us by next weekend. But we also are going to have quite a bit of a rain chance here as we head into the start of July. We're looking at chances for showers and thunderstorms every single day. That does include the 4th of July, unfortunately. It's just the heat of the afternoon coupled with all the moisture that we have in the atmosphere right now. It's fueling these storms, very strong storms popping up for us. So plan on a very humid, very summer-like week for us.
All right. Thank you so much, Dana. It's been a banner few weeks for Steve Stricker. Highlights from a historic win next in sports.
Well, Steve Stricker's U.S. Senior Open win is going to go down in the history books. The Edgerton native making his debut in the tournament this year, and it's going to be one he'll remember forever. He came into the final round with a 6-stroke lead and started off strong, putts for birdie on the very first hole. He played alongside fellow Wisconsinite and Madison native Jerry Kelly, going for the eagle putt on 17. Not quite there. He'd have to settle for the birdie. Kelly, fresh off of winning the AmFam championship here in Madison last week. But there was no way Stricker was going to let go of his lead today, putting on 18. He finished at 19 under 261, breaking the U.S. Senior Open record by 3 shots. With his wife Nikki and daughters Bobby and Izzy watching, he was very emotional after the win.
Well, you said it. You know, there's been a lot of years trying to win one of these, and to get this gold medal and a trophy in a USGA event means a lot.
Oh, love it. This is Stricker's second tournament win of the year. He won the Regions Tradition in Alabama in May. Jerry Kelly settling for a tie for second with last year's champion David Toms. Well, it's been a pretty frenzy of a day in the NBA, with free agency period kicking off at 5 o'clock today. Now the Bucks making moves, the first one being saying goodbye to Malcolm Brogdon. He is heading to the Pacers, where he has reportedly agreed to a 4-year, $85 million deal. In exchange, the Bucks will get a first-round draft pick in 2020 and 2 future second-round picks. Brogdon himself was a second-round pick in 2016 and was named Rookie of the Year in 2017. All-star Chris Middleton will return to Milwaukee on a 5-year, $178 million contract. The deal is expected to include a player option on that final year. Now, Middleton averaged 18.3 points per game this season. In a post on ESPN.com, he said in part, "We are on a mission to win a championship, and I want to be part of that mission, which is why I'm staying here in Milwaukee for the next 5 years." Brook Lopez also sticking around in Milwaukee, reportedly signing a 4-year, $52 million deal to stay with the Bucks. Splash Mountain, as he's affectionately known, averaged 12.5 points and 4.9 rebounds last season, shooting 45% from the field and a career-best 36.5% from 3. And on top of that, George Hill is rejoining the team as well. The veteran point guard and the Bucks have agreed to a 3-year, $29 million deal. The team recently waived him to avoid his $18 million cap hit. And under this deal, Hill will get extra guaranteed money and more security. Now, the Bucks are also expressing interest in Brook Lopez's brother, Robin, to join him in Milwaukee, so stay tuned. Some All-Star Game updates. Josh Hader, Mike Moustakas, and Yasmani Grandal have made the National League All-Star roster as reserves. They'll join Christian Yelich, who got the most votes in the National League, in Cleveland 1 week from Tuesday. In the rubber match today, Brewers down 1-0 early. Zach Davies contributing on offense as well, sending that ball to right center. Mike Moustakas running for his life. He's safe. Tie game in the 4th. We fast forward to the 8th inning. Eric Thames has had quite a series against the Pirates. Back-to-back games with home runs. Brewers take the 2-1 lead. That would be the final. Yelich also hitting his 1,000th career hit in the game. Brewers head to the Reds tomorrow night. Rubber match as well for the Cubs and Reds. Reds going old school uni today. We pick it up in the 8th inning. Lots of back and forth in this one. Phillip Ervin going to right field. Yasiel Puig, despite yesterday's antics, beats the throw home for the score, 5-3 Reds. In the 9th inning, Jason Hayward launching that one way out for a 3-run home run, but the Cubs still down 8-6. That would be the final score. But the big news of today, congrats to Steve Stricker. It was he kind of had it in the bag today, but it was still awesome to watch.
And it's nice to see when they get emotional. You know, it means a lot.
Exactly.
You know it does.
He's very happy.
All right, we'll be right back. Thanks. The Spring Green Arts and Crafts Fair celebrated its 50th year this weekend. The fair invited 220 artists from around the nation to sell their art. Woodworkers, photographers, painters, and more came out to showcase their work. Besides the art, guests enjoyed food, concessions, and live entertainment. For the art fair's co-chair, Diane Barenbrook, this annual event is a way to bring together the community and give back to it.
We have everyone involved, from my little nieces and nephews we're helping to my mom, who's been on the committee for 48 years and is approaching 80. So it's a wide range, and there's something for everybody to come and see and come and help with.
Although guests experienced a sunny day on Saturday, the fair had to be closed down today before noon due to thunderstorms. The fair's board members consulted with meteorologists and police officers before making the decision to shut it down. Yeah,
oh, wow.
It was pretty bad out there, especially if your art is out.
Absolutely, not a good day really to spend outside when we had the rain coming through in those storms. And unfortunately, we're expecting showers and thunderstorm chances almost every day this week. And when it's not raining, though, we should see a little bit of sunshine. It's going to be hot and humid also for us heading through the 4th of July. So get ready for that summer-like weather to stay with us.
All right, thank you so much. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.